connection or any awareness. It wasn't part of like, you know, the diet, you know, of the town that I was.
What was your town like? What was the environment that you grew up in?
It was an industrial town that it was kind of survived off a Juilliard oil plant that closed down in the 50s, and you know, I feel like it's called Mishawaka is the town that I was from. It's my sister city of South Bend in Notre Dame.
Okay.
I'm from Fort Wayne.
Fort Wayne, okay, yeah. That's at South Bend. There you go.
Who knew? It's the most Indiana people I've ever had.
Yeah.
Did you guys come because of that connection?
There you go.
And did you have anyone in your family? They're here for you regardless.
Right, yeah.
And was there anyone in your family who was artistic who kind of drew this out of you over the years, or did you kind of discover it on your own?
I think yeah, there wasn't anyone pushing me to do theater. It was only, I think at school, I auditioned for the play. I think I auditioned for Oklahoma, and I got cast as a chorus guy. And when Curly gets shot, my line was "check his heart," which is really dumb.
That's an important scene, though.
Yeah, but he just got shot.
That's true.
Nobody here is a doctor.
It's rural Oklahoma. They didn't know how to handle this
Right,
situation.
check his heart. And I liked it. I liked a lot of it. And then I auditioned. There was a teacher there named Noha El-Genzuri who had just kind of transferred over. That was her first. My second year at high school was her first year as a theater teacher, and I auditioned for Arsenic and Old Lace, and she cast me as Mortimer Brewster, and so that was the first time I'd done any theater.
Wow, and you liked it.
Yeah, I loved it, yeah.
And I know you applied to Juilliard, and your first attempt was not successful.
Right, no.
How did that feel? And
Felt
was
great.
that... Well, obviously it wasn't discouraging enough for you to not try again. But what did you learn from that experience? Was it sort of like, okay, I had that first big rejection, now it's, you know, under my belt, I'm gonna move forward and try to make the best of it?
Oh, no, I didn't have that kind of self-awareness or composure or, you know, or forward thinking at all. I auditioned for Juilliard because I knew they didn't check grades. And it was there.
That is popular among actors, I've heard.
Yeah, they do kind of check grades, but if they see something in you, then they'll like, you know, push grades aside. So that's why I auditioned, and I knew of the school and its reputation, but I very much did not get in. And then it wasn't until I got out of the military that I auditioned again. But I think because before I think I auditioned that I wanted to be liked. I didn't know have any opinion about anything that I was saying. I mean, not to mention any technical, you know, awareness of what I was saying. Yeah, and I had no point of view. And I think that after the military, I felt like I didn't feel like I was trying to express something, but I had an opinion, you know, and I cared less about, you know, being accepted.
You'd seen the world, you'd experienced probably a gamut of emotions and experiences.
Yeah, and I picked things, material that I felt like were in my wheelhouse at the time, which was
what was the material you used?
I picked a monologue from a monologue book at Barnes & Noble, and I hadn't read the play. I still had never read the play. I think the play was called The Feast of the Flying Cows and Other Stories of War, and it was, I don't remember what it was about, and then the opening monologue from Richard III, because you have to do a contemporary and a classic.
Right.
Yeah. And then I think I had a Moliere, but I never did it, you know.
And what do you remember about the reaction in the room that day?
I haven't talked about this. I don't remember much about it. I was working full-time and going to school full-time in Indianapolis, so I drove myself to the hotel. I think it was at the Hilton, and I stayed there the night before. I spent like my paycheck on a hotel room because I wanted to be rested, because I was like really wanted to take it seriously. But then I was so furious because that was my entire paycheck, and I remember on the bill it said occupancy fee, which I was really annoyed. It was like $20. I'm like, why would I rent a hotel room if you weren't expecting me to occupy it?
Kind of the whole point of the hotel.
Occupancy fee. Isn't that what the cost is? So,
I just tack it onto the total, just
right.
remove that part.
It's a bullshit chart, occupancy fee. So, and then I auditioned that morning, and then they don't do like this anymore, or they still do that anymore, but there's another layer. They auditioned in 4 cities, or 3 cities, 4 days. So 4 days in New York, 4 days in Chicago, where I auditioned at 4 days in San Francisco. And then I auditioned in the morning, and then they put up a callback list at like noon, and then you gotta wait around all day for all callbacks at night, at like 10 o'clock at night. And so I had to work the next day, so it was like I forget how long, it's a 2-3 hour drive. So I stayed there all day, waiting around in the hall after I auditioned. I got called back, it was a big deal. And me and this other guy, named Alex Rodriguez, a different Alex Rodriguez.
Wow, A-Rod, I had no idea he was a Juilliard.
He did the Moliere. We had to come back and we had to sing a song and do improv, and then that was it. Then we had to wait, I drove back to work the next day, then waited like a month or 2 months, and they called me. And this woman named Kathy Hood. Kathy Hood, Richard Feldman, and Ralph Zito were the 3 judges. I'm not really just answering your question, I'm just telling you what happened.
That's all we want. That's a great story. So how did it feel when you got that second chance?
It was great, great. I worked at a Target distribution warehouse where they don't make anything, they just distribute I was on the security, because after you get out of the military, there's only, if you're an infantry marine, there's not a lot of jobs that apply to being, a civilian again. It's either as a janitor or as something in security, because that's all you do in the military, and seemingly it's like, pick things up and blow things up, so I was at the back part that day. I worked at the front end of the back part of the warehouse, checking the trucks that come in. If there's like, you look on the back of, this is really boring. Look on the back of semi trucks, and there's like a little label, and if it's broken, then you have to like do an investigation of why it's broken. And so me and this other guy, we're working in the. Everybody's asleep.
I'm actually very interested in this story.
And Kathy Hood called me and said, we want to welcome you to the next year's class if you're interested, and I was very excited,
That's a great feeling.
Yeah, it was, I like ran up and down the thing to like check out, it's a very long kind of driveway. Just run up and down, it was really great.
They said, what's wrong with that man?
Yeah. It's too theatrical.
That's when your theatricalness
right.
came into play. What did you learn at Juilliard that today you think about every time you start a new job and every time you step on stage or in front of the camera? Is there an indelible piece of advice or training that just has never gone away?
No, it's not specific, I guess. The one thing that they always said to us while we were there, which turned out to be true, is that, they're kind of peppering you with a lot of information, and at the time you're cherry picking things that make sense to you. And then kind of jobs are different, so certain things will kind of come back as kind of like acid flashbacks, where you're doing something and you're like, oh right, I remember this class, this moment, this kind of applies to this, but not the thing, but it's a technique that helps you, especially when you do like plays. Then it really, it's a theater classical, a rare thing that exists, a classical theater program. They don't train you for film or television or any of that. It's to do plays on stage, in long runs. So that's when I remember the majority of that stuff.
And do you like auditioning?
I didn't know. I should say that Juilliard is good to. They gave me a way of working. Not a set process, but they taught me how to be interested in other processes. I did not like auditioning. Well, because auditioning sucks. It makes no sense, and it does make sense that they need to see, but it has nothing to do with the job actually. The things that you think that it's going to be or not. There's no disconnect. They ask you. They're basically
a gauge of your potential, essentially.
Yeah, and plus you're often auditioning for people who don't have, they don't know how to tell you to do the thing, and they don't want to invest the time to get you to where you need to be. Does that make sense? Like, just give me a note and I'll do the thing, But they're on to the next. They want you to come in as the thing, and they're not interested in that.
But they don't really know what the thing is that they want yet.
Yeah, often. Yeah, and for women, it's a fucking joke compared to men. Men can just kind of show up and what is this, and read it. And women have to get,
Does that sound familiar?
Prepared and hair, makeup, the whole thing. You have to spend money to audition, and then you don't get the job, so you're spending money to be an actor.
Is there an occupancy fee to audition?
Yeah, basically that's what it is. Yeah. You have to leave your job to go, but it is.
No, it is probably if you add up all the lost wages and time and all the auditions. It's too depressing to think about. We won't go there.
But, I will say that what I liked about, what I eventually found a way of not making it such a unbalanced power dynamic is that I think that a lot of people go into audition expecting, wanting to be liked or wanting to do that thing, and I looked at it as an opportunity to like, oh, this is a time for me to act, and if you don't hire me, then I didn't like you anyway. So I mean, it was just that, obviously operating out of fear and like, rejection, but I looked at it as an opportunity to do what so I was trying to be as prepared as I could in the little fucking time that they give you to get that shit together, and then try to do what I wanted to work on and not really focus on what they were interested in being,
Right. Well, it's worked out so far.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Marriage Story, the movie for which we are here tonight. We've been talking about this movie for 3 or 4 months straight,
Yeah.
which is not too bad.
No.
I would love to know what most excited you but scared you about this prospect. Obviously, you've worked with Noah many times at this point, but this particular piece is a giant portion of it is you. It's a huge contribution on your part. What scared you about that, but also excited you?
Lots of things scare me. It's just ended it there. Cameras scare me. Costumes. Working with Noah, he's my friend, but you always don't want to disappoint your friend. We had been talking about it for so long at that point. The themes in it really were fragile, I think, and very personal to everybody who was working on it. So that was kind of, but it was also in working on it, I will say, it was a testament to how good the script was, that every day felt like, usually there's like 1 or 2 scenes that you kind of dread or in the schedule, you clock them, and then you overthink them, or you don't think about them consciously, and then they happen, and it's great, or it happens and it's not great. But for this, every scene seemed like it was too early in the schedule to be shooting it, because the stakes were incredibly high. The actors were so great. Even scenes that seemed innocuous, like I'm just driving in a car and I take Eji out and I just, talk to the receptionist and that's it. When you think about what's actually happening,
like I'm in a scene with Alan Aldo, and we're in this weird kitchen in his office. Like on paper, like, oh, that's breezy. He's like making his lunch.
Yeah, well, no, but the stakes of what's happening are, life and death, or at least we're pretending.
He's sharing this, hard-fought wisdom with you.
Yeah.
Trying to save you from the grief that he's experienced in his life.
Yeah, and we all have relationships. The divorce is kind of a backdrop in a way, but it really is about love transitioning into something else, which, if you're prepared for, is one thing. If you're not prepared for, it's something else. And that was a hard thing to think about for the 3 months we were shooting it, or however long.
And on that note, were you able to leave this behind at the end of the day? Were there days where you're like, okay, I'm just in this loop, I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna go to sleep and just wake up and I'm still in character, or were you able to leave the set and be yourself?
It's not a conscious thing. It's kind of like jet lag is the best way I can describe it, where you go to a different country and it's 5 hours ahead. So for a couple days, you're kind of out of it until you adjust to the time. And working on a movie is like that. You go to a different country and it's the way that your character is thinking, or the way the stress level that they're under, the emotions that they're under, you're thinking about for 14 hours a day for 5 out of 7 days a week. So naturally, without a conscious, consciously, your body starts to prepare for it. Without you even, like when you do a play, it's 8 o'clock at night, your body starts to get ready. Without you, saying, doing it, you're not aware of it. It's just your chemicals are changing, and if you live that way for 3 months, then you're just kind of there all the time, and that's what I kind of feel it's like. And then when it's over, I try to flush out immediately, because you do something else entirely, and just naturally you'll go back to yourself. But
right.
Yeah, but
ideally,
yeah.
Right.
But you're just, I would just be saying the same thing again. You're living in with a person that's different than you in different circumstances for a large portion of months. So.
I like the jet lag. I'm not an actor, but that seems like a good comparison. I see people nodding.
Yeah.
It's like reality but tweaked.
Yeah, then you go back to you. Then you go back to your country.
Right.
And to do all the things the rituals that you did before you left, and then then you start to feel like yourself again. So it's like that.
And how has this movie, if at all, changed the way you perceive your own relationships, whether it be with your child, your spouse, just the way you engage in the world? Has it made you think about what commitment means in a different way?
No, because I haven't seen it, and we did it. We were thinking about it while we were doing it, and then so I don't have the lens of seeing what I. To me, I'm worried about the big themes of the movie, or I'm not aware of. I've broken it into these little pieces, and the minutia of being on a film set overtakes any kind of analytical thing that is going on in the movie. And then I never watch it, so I don't know what things are coming across or not.
You're really good in the movie, by the way.
Oh, thanks. So I don't have that lens, and I haven't observed it.
So for you, it's almost like you did that marathon, and you move on to the next marathon.
Yeah. I don't get to. I try not to get analytical about it while we're doing it. I try to do as much homework as I possibly can before, but then I also have to be willing to sacrifice and let all that go. If something else happens in the moment that's better, and then when it's done, I let it go until I have an FYC.
I like how you brought that back around. That's
right, to talk about it.
Love that. I would love to know if there's something about yourself that you think would surprise us to learn about you.
There's a lot of things. I have 6 toes and no, that's not true. I don't know what that would be. Yeah, probably a lot because you don't know me.
Right? We think we do, but we don't actually.
Yeah. I don't know what that would be.
Is there something that you do on set to get into character, to prepare to actually do the job that you kind of take with you job to job? A ritual, or do you listen to music? Is there anything you do?
No, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I have no set thing other than really showing up on time and know your lines. Those are the 2 things that I really try to do. There's so much information in your lines, and then I try to know them so well that I forget them. That I don't think about it, and I trust that I just know it, and then I show up where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be, and try to be there for the open to the things that are happening in front of me. I don't retreat into myself. Luckily I've worked with people who have, and this one in particular, who have orchestrated the set or are so clear with the story that they're trying to tell you that they're trying to tell, that all the information you need is in front of you. So if I'm open to that, then it kind of varies with what the scene is. If it's sometimes innately you just are more focused because you're in what you were saying, you're in a rhythm, and why leave it? Or there's so much absurdity happening, like you're something's on fire, and but you still have to make the day, so you just got to ignore it, or maybe there's information in it, so it kind of varies. I don't have a set thing. There's not like like things that are emotional. You never push for emotion. You never think about that. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But so trying to be open to everything that's around, not denying that you're even on a film set.
The preparation.
Yeah, for me, because it just makes me feel like I didn't. And there's an infinite amount of questions you can ask that you'll never get to. But the more prepared I am, the more relaxed that I feel, just because I know that there's no other. And how much you need to prepare is different for every job. A job like Silence, where it's set in a different time, you kind of got to know where you are and when you are. But something like this, I know it's now, so I don't have to do that work.
Right.
But. I might have to do work in some other place, or this is closer to me, or this one's farther away, so it varies a lot.
And I'd love to talk about the Being Alive scene, which is such a beautiful scene. The song, just 2 seconds, which is so wonderful. One of my favorite Sondheim pieces. And I'd love to know, has Sondheim weighed in on this now iconic scene? Have you heard any feedback? And also, how did you land on that particular song out of all the million songs you could have chosen? Why that one?
We haven't heard from him. I mean, he gave us the approval to use the song, but apart from that, I don't know that he's seen it.
You need to look online because a lot of people are talking about it. So.
Okay.
If you do a search for your name and being alive,
Oh.
Yeah, people are loving it.
That's terrifying.
No, it's great. It's great. You did justice. It's beautiful.
Yeah, but he'll watch it and be like, what the? That song, because I love the musical company. I think Sondheim is the best. We and Noah and I talked about maybe there's a movie version of Company, and we talked about it for a long time as one of the many things that we talked about when we would have dinners of what was it we wanted to do next, and we couldn't crack how to make it.
It's a tough one to
Yeah, I'm like, it's very abstract in a way that it could lend itself to being something cinematic, and we talked about it for a while and we just couldn't figure it out. But this song is so great. Being Alive, I think, is one of the best, in the Sondheim canon. It's my favorite. So again, this is a testament to Noah and his writing. There's lots of things that we talked about, a lot of lawyers and people that he had spoke to when I finally saw the script and saw where he had put it. I thought it was brilliant. Charlie spends the first part of the movie on the back foot. Nicole has made the decision before the movie starts that she's going to reclaim what she's lost, and he is, sideswiped by this decision. So he is playing catch up, and he hasn't really even had time to mourn or process that this thing that he knew at this molecular level is gone, and only through performance. She makes this reference that they met in performance. Performance is a huge theme in this movie. It begins on Scarlett's face in performance. It's all this performance for judges, and she met him at like a site-specific play, and he was a bear of an actor, and all these things. But it's only in an impromptu moment where he sings a song that he knows innately. He knows it by heart. He knows the Dean Jones version. It's something that's part of who he is, but now he's different when he's singing it, and it's only through this abstract way of expressing himself in performance does he begin to start to process this thing that he lost, and it does that thing that great musical theater does, where you start in one place and by the end of the song, he's in another place, and it's through singing the lyrics of someone else, someone who is talking about love and how much they've been rejecting it their entire life, all this someone to, hold me, sit in my chair and ruin my sleep, is actually the thing that he needed the most. And I'm singing it and I've lost it, and it's not a speech, it's not Noah's written a speech that he says how he feels. He expresses it abstractly, which I think said so much about his relationship to art and performance, and how open he is to the world, and how open he is to the moment of, taking something familiar and just from bringing himself to it, he's learned something new, and then it kind of affects how he moves on after that. So I thought it was really beautiful. And there's this guy named Michael Rafter who works with Sutton Foster a lot of time. He plays the piano. He actually plays the piano in that scene. The way I worked with him on it, and he was great.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So before we close, I do want to talk about the amazing work you do with your philanthropy, Arts in the Armed Forces.
Oh.
It's really wonderful. Again, so laudatory, so thank you for taking the time to do that. What have you learned doing that work that you think directly impacts now the way you approach your craft? Does it help change the decisions that you make, or does it help you focus when you're able to give that part of yourself to others and see how the arts are sort of curative and healing to people?
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to make that not a long answer, because it's the best. We get so much out of it as actors doing it just as much as I think as the audience that we're performing for. We do, for people who don't know, we have this group called Arts in the Armed Forces that started 11 years ago when I was a student at Juilliard, where we go around to military bases. It started as strictly just theater, where we read contemporary American plays for a military audience that are not themed by the military at all. It's not Streamers or Henry V. It's Jesus Hopped the A Train, or David Mamet, or Stephen Burgess wrote Jesus Hopped the A Train, or Tony Kushner. and we just read it. There's no production, no sets or costumes or lights, and we read it for a military audience. We train with them in the day, and then they come to the play at night, and there's a Q&A afterwards. And you're just reminded, especially being from, going to Juilliard and living in New York, that sometimes theater can feel like recycled air a little bit. And then when you take it out of New York, it's this weapon that you kind of forget how powerful it is. And often you're watching someone in the military experience theater for the first time. They're watching a new way of expressing themselves. And for a group like the military, who makes up 1% of a population of 1% of our country, is asked to bear the responsibility of 100% of its safety. There's no things in place for them to process anything collectively. And so if anything, it's just an exposure to this thing of maybe it's a way to find language. Yeah, which I noticed in myself coming from the military, going to Juilliard, is, for now the first time I'm exposed to these great writers who are saying nothing about the military, but is articulating exactly what it was like to be in a platoon, True West, to play about brothers. So that somehow described the thing that I couldn't, and now that I have the language, I can put language to feeling for the first time on how reassuring and comforting that is, and what better community to arm with a way of expressing themselves in the military. So we travel around to all over the United States and the world performing these plays, and you're watching, they say the things that you hope, the effect that you have, or the power of acting. You're watching people be like, I didn't know acting, or theater was like that. There's something about seeing it live. I've never been to a play.
There's about theater that is inherently seems inaccessible to people. Mm-hmm. And what you're doing is literally just saying, we're just humans exchanging this literature amongst each other.
And they've been told that they won't get it because of where they're from, and because they're in the military. That it's not gonna, we've heard that all the time we're trying to do.
It's for elites.
Yeah. Right. And it's pretentious, and it's gonna be Shakespearean tights and things like that. And it's actually, it's not. You're watching people see that for the first time is really, it's like you can't take it for granted. To answer your question, I guess, we're going to go away for 3 or 4 months and ask a lot of people to be at this one place 14 hours a day to make this thing that hopefully says something. And it better be worth our time, or it better be worth everyone's time. We're asking people to come watch it for 2.5 hours. What an opportunity. How can we not waste it? Because the potential is there that it could be great. And if it's not, it fucking sucks, and it's often that, where it's just like, we didn't do it, because it's an impossible hat trick. But if, even if it's like, we get it right, close, the effect could be great, especially with film, it's forever. You're making something that's gonna last not only for now or opening weekend or whatever the fuck that means, but throughout time, how you can't, it's such an opportunity you can't waste.
Well, on that note, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.